My Chemical Romance is the band, and the song is I Don't Love You. That's the introduction played on the clear picking. There's obviously an overdrive part which I'm going to demonstrate later as well, which comes in. But first of all, let's take you step by step through some of the new chord shapes. The new chord shapes we refer to as voicings. So for example, when you're starting off with this new chord over here, which looks like a D, if you think of it, D down there is actually this shape. And for those that know a bit of theory, D will then become E, which will become F as you move it up to G, to A, and eventually when we get to fret 12 and 13, we play the same shape and pick these three strings 3, 2 and 1, you actually end up with C. So this is actually a C chord. Now on the picking side, we're just going to quickly focus on the picking hand, and you'll notice over here, not using a plectrum, I like fingerstyle for this. It just works better for the way it's been played. And we're starting with fingers 1 and 2, your pointing finger and middle finger on strings 1 and 2 like that as well. And it starts picking those two strings, and the thumb plays the third, your G. So together now we're going to have, that's sort of the rhythm that goes through. Now let's get back to the chord shapes again. I'm also assuming that you do have a copy of the tab. If you need a copy, just WhatsApp me or inbox me. I'll be happy to send you the PDF file with the tabs on it, because it will definitely come in handy. And in the beginning of the song, you can hear just the guitar by itself going before the overdrive guitar starts. So I'm going to start now effectively on the second bar underneath where it says C5 in red. I'm referring to the PDF file now. And it says OD for overdrive, OD for overdrive, guitar 2 starts. So we're playing guitar 1 and that particular part. And we've got this shape. Now, be careful, because you'll notice that halfway through, watch my pinky that's twitching around over here, halfway through this happens. And here we go, pinky off. It's sort of creating a suspended 4 vibe to it, which is pretty cool. So your C chord is becoming C sus4 and then coming back off again. But you need those little subtleties to make the song really work. So if you're missing a note, you might have accidentally missed the 13, which is starting in the third bar, and halfway through the third bar it goes back to the 12. So with me, 2 and 3 and 4 and under the A5, in other words, the last 2 bars of the first row are exactly the same. So again, you're going to have the same. Now the next shape's quite an interesting one. It's based on a G chord, and it's going to look something like this. You're going to start with your first finger on the 10th fret. My middle finger goes to the 12th, the double dot, and my ring finger goes to fret number 13. So my chord shape looks something like this. It's sort of like a sus2 if you think about the D shapes, if you know them, but I don't want to get too much into the theory for that. But one more time, breakdown, fret 10, fret 12, fret 13, and it should sound like this. And then watch finger number 3. It goes down. So from there, and moves and back. So it's a very small movement there. As it goes through the second line we're busy working with now, and you can see the 13s on your B string become the 12s. That's when it moves back and comes back to number 13 when you're simply sliding that ring finger across. The last part, I'll do my F voicing like this. Basically, fingers 2 and 3, and the reason I want to keep my first finger available is because the very last bar will have to have my first finger going down to the 10, which means my ring finger lifts up. So if I'm looking now at the third bar, second line, you're going to have 12s and 10, and then watch my ring finger come down to the 12 there, and then back to the 10. So there's very small but really cool subtle changes we just have to pay attention to as we go through the piece. So I'm going to play through the whole piece again, and if you want to play through with me, that'd be pretty cool. Let's go. And it's a nice slow piece as well, so try not to rush it. And I'm picking up now from the first C5 after the double line, so I'm ignoring that introduction where it says do times 2. Okay, second bar, C5, here we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that's the introduction. Now I'm going to walk you through the rest of the chords, so we're going to just get a bit of a feel for it. And I first want to take you through the power chords specifically as well. Now this is the overdriven guitar 2 part that we spoke about earlier at the beginning of the video. Looking at a C5 power chord, which is going to be fret 3, string number 5. And we're fretting also fret number 5 on string number 4. You can use fingers 1 and 3 like that, or if you want to, I like the pinky. When we go from there to the A5, I'm going to go for the open 5th string, and I'm going to just simply place my first finger into fret 2. When I finish that, 2 bars of that onto the next line, G5, a lot like the C5 I started with, simply up a string, so string 6, string 5, and then 1 bar of F5, same strings down to fret 1 and 3, and back to G. On this strumming, we're just going to go simple sort of. If you're counting it, it's simply going to count like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and change. So I'm going to take it through now, and I hope you're going to play along with me. And let's go from the C5: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. There. That's the beginning now of the verse where you start singing When You Go. And for this part of here, what sounds quite cool is you can go back to normal strumming again, so you're looking at your basic chords. Now we're going to go for normal C. You're familiar with this, you know A minor, you know the G. Remember, I like using my ring finger and pinky for the G. And the good news is there's no F until the chorus, so none of those. Okay. With the strumming as well, on the original, there still is a very quiet, overdriven power chord going in the background. So if you're playing it by yourself and you're looking for a sing-along, I would suggest doing something like this. It's not exactly what they're doing, but the chords are correct and it will sound good. So you can do something like this with the chords, 2 and 3 and 4 and... really well. Now on the strumming, it's a nice easy pattern. You're simply going 1, 2, 3, 4. So for the first and second beat, I'm sort of emphasizing more the deeper sounding strings. So I'm not doing only the bass note, but I'm also not doing a full chord either. So to sort of summarize that, I'm playing strings 5 and 4, 5, 4 and 3. I'm not too specifically worried about that. All I'm doing is getting a slightly deeper sound. We're on the 3 and the 4 end, I would then focus on all the strings relevant for the chord. So slow motion, 1, 2, 3, got that? And then 2 of those with C would be like this. That would effectively be 2 bars. You go to A minor, same scenario, you know the A minor, nice easy transition as well there, just finger 3. Sliding fingers 1 and 2 back to make a bit of space. We're at a different angle would help. C, only move the 1 finger. G, obviously you have to move all the fingers, but now you strum from the 6th. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play through now the verse, the whole way through the verse, and I want you to play along with me. And are you ready with your C chord? 2 and 3 and 4 and... 3 and 4. finally bring the F. A minor and G change a lot quicker, and it says A5, G5, F5. So if we are playing power chords, you could go, for example, like this F to the G for when you go. But it sounds a bit empty if you don't have the other guitar and the instruments with you. So I wouldn't necessarily do the those power chord changes personally. I would rather just go for playing A minor, G and F. It's just going to sound so much nicer for the song. That in essence is pretty much everything we need for the song I Don't Love You. It's a nice song, it's an easy song to do. Yes, there are other little guitar parts, but you can still get the song working really, really well, and I really hope you enjoy it. Also, there's a little trick that I want to point out as well. When you go from C to A minor, check this out. You hear that? Let me zoom in a bit closer there quickly. And this is a very useful little passing trick to use whenever you go from a C to A minor. It will work for almost every song. Okay, going from the C, playing from the 5th string. Now all I'm doing is I'm sliding my ring finger back, and I get this. And then down to A minor. And I get this vibe. That sounds quite cool. Some guitarists prefer to do this instead. So instead of just pulling the ring finger back, some players find it more comfortable to do that and then move across to A minor. But it's just a nice little passing. Do it quick, or do more of a sort of gradual transition. Either way, it's a nice passing change from C to A minor that I thought I'd just like to include at the end of the video. So I hope you enjoyed it. Have an awesome week. Take care.